everyone. Welcome, welcome. Come on in.
Hi, everybody. We're going to take a few minutes as people come in. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
So wonderful to see you all on this Monday evening in October. Not really to see you because I can't see your beautiful faces, but I know you're there. I know you're all out there. Awesome. See if there's anyone I recognize.
I see an awful lot of CVHS students. It's really cool.
I see Scott Schick. I think I know who he is. Miss Call. Welcome, Miss Call. She's one of our teachers. She's assigning this as an assignment. We appreciate that. Let's see, who else do I see? This is so much fun. Mrs. Villasenor. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Oh yeah, we are getting up there. Good stuff. Happy October. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. We're very excited to celebrate that as well. As we enter our last week of Hispanic Heritage Month. Starting to come in a little bit slower. You think I'm ready? You think I'm okay to start, Mr. Gallimore? Based on what you're seeing?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our last week of Hispanic Heritage Month. We are thrilled to have all of you here. Sorry, I'm trying to get my notes up. I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Adriana, who is our translator.
Hola, buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a la última semana de estas charlas de Adelante Latinos. Para los que prefieren escuchar en español, les voy abajo en la pantalla van a ver, como está mostrado aquí, hay un icono del globo terráqueo. Hacen clic ahí y van a ver una lista de idiomas, vuelven a hacer clic en el idioma español, Spanish, y van a poder escuchar en español lo que hablen. Ahora les voy a pedir que por favor a los que necesiten o quieran escuchar en español, que lo pongan en el chat para así nosotros sabemos que hay gente utilizando este servicio. Nuevamente ahí tienen el icono del globo terráqueo donde dice interpretación, interpretation, clic ahí y ven donde dice Spanish, hacen clic nuevamente y ahí van a poder escuchar. Y por favor, sí, les pido que lo pongan en el chat si están escuchando. Gracias.
Thank you, Adriana. And this is her last night with us as interpreter. Thank you so much for everything you did for us the last month. We've appreciated it. And I'd also like to thank all of our speakers, our student moderators. Tonight we have a student from Glendale High. We're so excited to welcome her. Dr. Armina Garpetian, Nairi Nahabedian, Anita Quinones Gabrielian, Luz Zuluaga, Janet Harold, Jenny Quillones Skinner, Brenda Bessero, Ruben Garcia, Bill Gallimore, Laura Lopez, the Glendale Latino Association, Sebastian Hernandez, Adelante Latinos. If you haven't joined Glendale Latino Association or Adelante Latinos yet, please look into doing that. Two great organizations that provide scholarships. Here's our social media platforms. You can find all of our information, including the recordings of these webinars on our YouTube channel. So please follow us on Instagram, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, etc. And we will also have things on our website. If you've missed the last missed the last 8 presentations, we do have them available on YouTube, and these are the links. Please look at those. Our next Adelante Latino Strategic Planning meeting is Saturday, November 21st at 9 a.m. We would love to have all the support we can get from students, community members, teachers, parents, everyone. So please join us then. Write that down in your calendar. Thank you. Students, Dia de los Muertos, there's an art competition and the due date is the 28th. This is something that we will be pushing out on our social media as well as on our website. So please keep a lookout for that. We would love to have a lot of Adelante Latinos submitting their artwork for this competition. We have another opportunity for the Latinx Latino Conference, October 24th. Please look into this. The first 50 students who register get a $100 Amazon gift card. So please look at www.cui.edu/Latinx and register for that. Thank you. Tonight, you have me as your moderator, as well as our student moderator, Armine. I had it, Armine. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Akiyanist. Agakiyanist.
Yes.
Did I get it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I choked. I'm sorry. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Gallimore and Sebastian Hernandez for being our stage crew tonight. So thank you for that. And Armine, go ahead and introduce our amazing speaker for this evening. See you guys in a bit.
Okay, so our speaker today is Davina Agudelo, founder and CEO of Alegria, Bilingual Media and Publishing. Davina Feria was born in Miami, Florida, but grew up in Medellin, Colombia. She attended UC Irvine, where she received her BA in Fine Arts and Drama. After graduating, Feria worked in Los Angeles as a theater actor with the Bilingual Foundation of the Arts. In 2005, Feria met Sir Ben Kingsley and worked with him in her own one-woman show, Iria. As preparation for their project together, she attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London to pursue classical acting. After writing her own play, Iria, she began to write her first book, Take Me With You, Llévame Contigo, a bilingual compilation of short stories and poems of love. Her second book, Finding My Alegría, is an inspirational memoir which she hopes will motivate young entrepreneurs around the world to pursue their dreams regardless of their circumstances. In June of 2008, Feria completed a program to receive a Spanish journalism certificate from UCLA Extension. Soon after graduating, she worked for several Spanish media outlets in Los Angeles as an entertainment reporter before launching her luxury bilingual magazine, Alegría. Today, Alegría has grown into a multi-faceted media brand. It encompasses experiential and influencer marketing, event activation, digital content creation, and marketing consulting for international brands looking to connect with a multicultural, bilingual, millennial consumer with international appeal. She has received the Rising Star Award by the prestigious National Latina Businesswomen Association and the Latina of Influence Award by Hispanic Lifestyle magazine.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I will begin with two poems from my latest book, If Love Had a Name. It's a poetic collection that I hope you enjoy, so you can discover a little bit about me. 17. I was 17 when I left Medellin with my suitcase full of dreams. Put myself on a flight to the unknown and defied the odds. Sat alone at recess with the only two Spanish speakers, made the line with disabled children. Ate the free tuna with saltines for low-income students, walked 40 minutes to school, and on my way home discovered quesadillas, found 50-cent donuts for self-love, and one friend who was more than enough. I wrote depressing journal entries in diaries. I became a friend of the dictionary. Back then, going home was out of the question. You are an artist. My first American boyfriend was the one who helped me understand who I really was. One afternoon before I went to boot camp to become a U.S. Marine, I thought it would be my only way to pay for college. He grabbed me by my hand as we sat on a sidewalk on Beach Boulevard and told me, "You are an artist. The military life is not for you." The next day, I took my stuff from where I used to stay, sign my resignation, wonder if my first winter would be too long. I didn't know if I could survive at 18 on my own. He made sure I found a safe place to write and study. I borrowed an old bicycle, worked as a hostess, enrolled at a community college. The seeds of my dreams got planted. One day he left to go travel through Africa, where he found himself a wife and many children. I remember how much I cried when I saw him leaving. His kind heart saw in me what others didn't, even if he did not speak Spanish and I did not speak English. Ever since then, I believe in angels. They truly show up when you need them. So those two poems are just a little insight into my world when I first arrived in 1997 to California. And my family is from Medellin, Colombia. For very, I guess, lucky reasons, my parents were in Miami for a period of their lives. So I was actually born in Miami, but I was taken to Colombia when I was like 2 years old. So when I came to the US at 17, I did not speak English, no one word. I guess in my school, you learned the basics that I'm sure a lot of you identified, but with the Spanish, you know the numbers, you know a few words, but that's about it. So when I got here, you can imagine the culture shock. I stayed with a relative for the first year. And after that, I was on my own. So that poem is actually a true story. My dream was to go to college, but my parents could not help me with my college financial situation. So I always had to, of course, have jobs, and I had several different jobs as a hostess, cashier, in different restaurants. And that's how I was able also to get financial aid and go to community college first. But my dream, I always dreamt of going to college. And I thought at that time that one of the only ways I could do that was going to the military. And true story, this friend, who then became my boyfriend, had this conversation with me, and I realized that yes, he was right, because even back home in Colombia, to tell you a little bit about me and who I was back there, I was always the crazy kid at school that will come out with super creative class presentations. So like if the teacher told me to prepare a presentation for class, it wouldn't be like your normal sort of presentation. I would literally go out and like take all the students and like create monologues and plays. So I was like, you could say like I always had this artistic part of me since I was very young. So I produced the newspaper at school. I was also a singer for church. I created a lot of plays. I also wrote a lot during those times. And it's always been a part of me. But in South America at that time, the arts were not taken very seriously. And that was something like completely different when I got to California and I started, taking those first 2 years of classes in community college, that I discovered like the arts were taken seriously here, and that I could actually, if I wanted to, pursue a career and a degree in the arts. So that was like so exciting for me. And I started exploring a little bit, because even though I was artistic, I really didn't know exactly what I wanted. Like I always have written, like I always loved creative writing. I always loved performing and dancing. So I started taking these different classes, from like cinema appreciation to like modern dance to theater classes. And I fell in love with the theater. And that's when I decided, when it was time to transfer, that I wanted to pursue it as a full-time career. So I transferred 2 years later to UC Irvine, and I received my BA in drama, acting. And when you get a BA in drama, of course, it's not only acting. In these cases, you learn so much about just producing this massive work of art, who of course has tons of work behind it, from the lighting, the costume design, the writing, the acting, directing, all of that. And I had an amazing time and experience at UCI, being part of incredible plays, also with the MFA students. I got cast in some of these lead roles, and it was just an incredible experience. So you could say that at that moment in my life, in my early 20s, I was full on being a theater actress. And when I graduated, I came to Los Angeles and performed with the Bilingual Foundation of the Arts for a couple years. And after that, I continued my education as an actor here in Los Angeles. And then, you know, life changes. So I think I tell you all of this to be also compassionate and flexible with yourself, because most likely the person that you are now will keep evolving. And I think that's a beautiful thing and not something to be ashamed of, because by the time I was 25, something, you know, life happens. Sometimes life is crazy. And I had a big change in my life, and I stopped acting for the theater. I also had like more responsibilities with my family back in Colombia, and I wanted to explore something else. So I started experimenting and taking classes, which education for me has always been like the door to discovering yourself and an opportunity. So I started these classes for Spanish journalism at UCLA Extension, and I didn't know exactly if I was gonna love it. And to my surprise, I loved it. I fell in love with it because it had the storytelling aspect, and it also had, you know, like if I wanted to do broadcast journalism, I could like be on camera, which could also be some sort of performance aspect to what I've always liked. So I started taking this certification, and I completed it 2 years after, and I started working in Hispanic and Latinx media for different channels and doing a lot of entertainment reporting. Some of you, I'm sure, like reggaeton and Latin music. So I think that was like my late 20s. I gotten to interview some of the biggest stars in the Latin world, a lot of celebrities, you know, you name it, from J Balvin to Maluma to Karol G to all these amazing Latin artists. And it was so much fun. I mean, just getting immersed in this world and always sort of embracing the artistic part of me and learning from these artists as well. So for me, when I worked in TV during those times, I felt like a lot of it sometimes was like concentrated on like the gossip. So when I got to interview these big stars, I felt like at the TV networks, it was more like, you know, just sort of like gossip type of thing. And I didn't really love that, because I felt like if I was in front of this big leader or celebrity, I wanted to get inspired about their story. And that was always what called me, you know, was kind of like my motivation when I did these interviews. So at that time, that was like 9 years ago, you know, every time I would travel and see my family in South America, I would see like beautiful magazines and publications about our culture. And here in Los Angeles, being such a huge city filled with all different cultures and so many Latinas and Latinos, I just couldn't believe that there were not enough media companies that really focus on the positive contributions of Hispanics, Latinx, Latinas, and Latinos. And I started this project to create a bilingual magazine. I did not have capital or investors or money. I still had, you know, obviously not very high paying job. Believe it or not, those reporting jobs don't pay that much, unfortunately. So I set up to create this magazine, and I had the idea very clear, and everything is kind of magical because someone who had seen me during, you know, working in journalism, this lady who's like a mentor to this day, she's like, what are you working on right now? And I told her that I had this crazy idea to create this bilingual magazine that truly represented the beauty of our culture, and that also educated other people from different cultures to value who we are. And I presented it to her. I mean, obviously, I didn't exactly know what she did, and she ended up being a high executive for a huge brand here in the US. So a month later, I got a call and a meeting with this huge brand, and they launched my magazine. And that was like a huge responsibility because, like I told you, I always been more of like the creative, the artist, but I had no experience publishing a magazine. And definitely, you know, the pressure was on because it was a huge brand. So imagine how incredible and how beautiful it is that sometimes we only need one person to believe in our dream to help us make it a reality. So I think that's also another one of the lessons that I love. Like, there's always people and mentors that will find along the way to help us bring those dreams to reality. So I'm always and will forever be thankful to this lady that allowed me to literally become an entrepreneur. And a lot of it I learned on the way, because literally it's like I've been studying for like 10 years and preparing myself. And then when this opportunity came, I was ready. Obviously, I had a lot to learn, but I was like, this is my chance. And I went with it. And I learned a lot of things on the way, which is, I think, something that I want to leave you with, that you will never know it all when you start. But if you get that opportunity and you're driven and you really believe and are passionate about what your product or your entrepreneurial idea is about, you will make it happen. You will educate yourself. So literally, I just, since then, I've been studying through my business really for the last 9 years. So imagine what a joy for me to be able to have this dream also and maintain it, because that's actually another thing that I love mentioning, because nowadays we all can create things, but the most important thing is how to maintain those ideas alive, because it's easy when you're excited at the beginning to create something, but I actually have the discipline to keep moving forward despite the obstacles, because any venture, project, entrepreneurial idea you have will have its ups and downs, right? So I think that that's so beautiful when we believe in something that has purpose, not only for you, but for the community that your company serves, that it will keep you passionate through all the good and the bad times, especially. And I don't know how on time. So before we start wrapping it up, I want to say that I want to encourage you to always stay creative, and don't think that because maybe you don't have a lot of people that follow your ideas yet or anything like that, that they're not worth it. Because what you'll be surprised is that the more you share your gift, and you should be asking yourself, what's something I'm really good at? What's something that makes me be joyful? What's something that when I do it, I lose track of time? And I think those are great questions to ask ourselves, because at the end of it, I think whatever we do in life has to be linked to a deep passion. Is not only to make money or, you know, buy expensive stuff, but more than that, to bring purpose and help others in different communities or the community that you want to serve and make a difference. I think there's nothing better when you do something that makes a difference, that makes someone else happy, while you are also happy because you're like executing on your dream. So now where we are now, it's, you know, 2020, crazy year for all of us, but we are so happy because right now we have launched a book publishing division for women of color, Latinx authors, male, female, any gender. And we're so excited. I want to share with you briefly. We created 2 beautiful anthologies. They're right there on the screen. The Latinx Poetry Project and the Black and Latinx Poetry Project. And these books feature more than 65 Latinx and Black poets. And it's a beautiful opportunity to learn about just different points of view and support these voices that usually don't get enough support through the traditional media and book publishing industry. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. And I actually have here also the magazine. It's very pretty, very high quality, because I think we deserve it, to have something that portrays the beauty of our culture and who we are in a high quality format, with the best paper, with the best of everything. And I think we're going to open it up for questions. So I want to thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this wasn't boring for you, and that we can keep in touch somewhere. I'm sure we can share here how we can follow each other. Thank you so much. And let's open it up. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, because I know that was I gave you like 15 years in like 20 minutes. So obviously there is a lot more, but I know we have a certain amount of time.
Okay, so we have questions. Our first question is, what was your biggest inspiration in life?
Thank you for that question. I think my grandmother is a woman. She passed away like 8 years ago. My grandmother has always been a huge inspiration, especially when she was alive, because she was a woman that was an entrepreneur by nature. And not only that, she was a woman that always loved to help people and share whatever she had with others less fortunate. So I could really say that my grandmother has been that role model for me.
Another question is, what has been the most rewarding experience of your life as someone who was able to successfully pursue your dreams?
I think one moment, it's tough, because I'm a person that literally enjoys every second and every aspect of the journey of realizing your dreams, because I feel like otherwise we're always waiting for that big recognition or that big dream to happen, or there's always something more we could accomplish, and that could be something that steals our peace and our joy. So I'm a person that celebrates every small victory. So I could tell you one of my happiest was when I graduated from college, when this company launched my magazine. And actually, a lot of every time I opened the box with any of my new books, like I've written 3 books so far, and also this new collection where I'm able to promote these new poets and storytellers, for me that has brought me a lot of joy.
Another question is, who are some of the biggest celebrities that you have met?
Okay, I think I mentioned already some of them. Jada Pink Smith is one of them. You know, like I said, Maluma, J Balvin, Karol G, Shakira, Carlos Vives. I don't know if you know him. Pablo Alborán, Ricky Martin, Gina Rodriguez. Actually, I think it was like the first official magazine cover she had here in Los Angeles before she made it huge, and many others. I forget, it's been a long time.
What is an inspirational quote that you can share?
That's a good one, because I do love quotes. I think I love Rumi, so I don't know it by memory, but I could definitely share it with you. So I don't butcher his quote, but I love this quote, and it reads, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Sometimes we are so ashamed of a lot of the things that have happened in our family or our own story, but our pain is actually what makes us evolve and sometimes even tap into our passion, what we really care about. So I would say embrace that part of you that maybe you're a little shy to share, or there's something that happened there that you don't like to share, and maybe how you can bring awareness to this. So yeah, the wound is the part where the light can enter you, for sure, for sure.
Another question is, where do you find the strength to move on when you find roadblocks?
Oof, yeah, that's definitely my connection with higher power. It's very important. I think we all, especially during these times, we all need different wellness tools. I actually have shared in my second book, Finding My Alegría, my own story with anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was 19 years old, and now it makes total sense, because imagine being in a new country by yourself with no family. Of course, you're gonna feel anxiety. So that actually helped me find throughout the years to find different things that had helped me cope with when hard things happen in life. Some of them to this day are meditation, yoga, and I'm not talking only like sweat yoga, like you have to like super have like a crazy workout. I'm talking like a type of, it's called yin yoga, something that's more like slow and stretches your body, prayer, and just being surrounded by beautiful people that support you and believe in your dream.
One asks, what makes you most proud about your heritage?
Well, I'm so thankful. I think the older I get, the most grateful and proud I am of my Colombian heritage, because I feel that growing up in Colombia has given me such a beautiful perspective about the world. Because as you may know, in Medellin, we went through one of the hardest times in history. We were at some point the most violent city in the world through like the drug cartels, and like I'm sure like maybe you've seen Narcos in Netflix and all of that. I lived there when that happened in the 1990s. So we lost a lot of like our peace and were exposed to so much violence growing up. But at the same time, we were supposed to enjoy when things were good. So like the meaning of family, of having a good time, of enjoying nature, and not just focusing on money and material wealth. That's something that has stayed with me, because I feel like here sometimes in the US we focus so much in like making money and like letting that drive what success is, and that necessarily, at least for me, is not success. Because like you can have a lot of wealth, but if you're ill or you're not peaceful, then I don't consider that true success. So these little lessons about living with joy, I think a lot of them come from Colombia.
If you were reborn, would you do the same job as your current one?
Well, as I told you, I'm like an artist with many passions, so I probably would, but I would hopefully have parents in that lifetime that put me when I was very little into like to play many instruments and take like tap and modern dance. So by the time I'm like 14, I'm already like a professional dancer and singer and musician and all of that. But yeah, probably still a writer, still a performer. Yes, but better.
What do you think that gave you that light bulb idea to start a magazine?
Talking about that Rumi quote, I hit a really low point when I was 25, and I was looking for a change in my life, and I literally took some time to be with myself and read this book called The Artist's Way. It's a very famous book written by Julia Cameron, and it's like a creativity workshop when you feel blocked, and I highly recommend it. And I literally, you can do it in a group setting as well, or you can do it alone and just make sure you do all the exercises. And it was after reading that book and taking time for myself to see what I really wanted that literally this idea came from the sky, because I was at the beach laying down and the idea came to me to create a bilingual magazine.
Is Alegría published in all of Latin America or only in the US?
Only in the US. So yeah, our demographic is the US Latino or Latina.
What is something about Colombian culture that you absolutely love?
I definitely love how people, and I think I said this, but I can elaborate because I really love this, that every time I visit my family in Colombia, you go and meet people that maybe don't have a lot of stuff and they're so happy. Like if they don't have money to buy something, like your best friend will share that drink with you, or, so I just see like so much joy that is not dependent on having all these things, or like being famous or being successful. And I think that's an amazing lesson, that sometimes we put that in our minds, but life and beauty is everywhere, and the connection to nature that I feel you can find in places in Latin America, well, all around the world. But me growing up and going to like my grandma's house that was like filled with like mango trees, it's definitely one of those things that I still remember and makes me so proud of my culture, the people, the joy, and the capacity to overcome great obstacles with humor too. I think that's very Colombian.
What have you found challenging as a woman in pursuing your career?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that won't believe in you or won't want you to succeed. And I think that when I started, thank God there was no Instagram. I mean, I was just starting, because to be starting on your path and having so much messaging going on through social media, it can be really confusing. And so I really think that you have to be hyper focused, really have a big and deep purpose for what you do, and literally like stay on your lane and just make sure you truly believe in yourself, which is, I know it's really hard, but once again, just bringing like a lot of good books, good mentors, good music, good experiences to fuel yourself is key.
What was the best advice you have ever received in your life, and why?
It actually ties together with the last question and that is, what people think of you is none of your business. And I think that if we get too obsessed with what others thinks of us, I think that could be very paralyzing, and it may be like stopping you from really fully living your dreams, because no one is going to everyone is going to vibe with what you create, and that's okay. And I think you have to remain humble and open.
Who was your favorite interviewee?
Okay, so I don't know if you know him. He's like huge in Colombia and also the world. He brought this genre that is very traditionally played in Colombia called vallenato. His name is Carlos Vives. And the reason I love this interview was because this guy, I mean, I grew up listening to him, and he literally was like with his family for many years and sort of left his singing career, and then he came back stronger than ever. And I remember interviewing him at the Latin Grammys, and then he was so real, like you literally felt like you were with a friend. And he started singing like live in front of everybody, like these songs that I grew up with. So that was like really cool. And I just love when artists are like people that you admire are really like just friends, you know, like they're not just sort of putting up a show. So most of them are actually really kind and nice. So, and then you become more of a fan after that, right? And when they're rude, you're like, I'm over it. I'm never getting their music anymore.
Um, what do you think your biggest influence is on the community?
Yes, I think that our community is mostly made by women of color, Latinas, and my mission, and hopefully this has happened, I guess they have let me know it has, that I just hope to be inspiration and motivation to different people that had to overcome a lot of difficult things growing up, including issues with mental health and anxiety, and coming also from families that have a lot of maybe addiction or different issues, and that like you see that sometimes you're not going to be able to succeed because of your family history. So my goal is always to inspire people and bring hope that you can write your own story, and you don't have to come from a wealthy family, and you can do it, you know. And I feel that hopefully that will inspire, because like if this girl that is like a short 5'4" girl from Medellin who didn't speak English when she came to the US was able to accomplish this, you definitely can't. And this girl with this super heavy accent. And so yeah, I guess I just make it success relatable in a way that anybody can create their own success story.
How hard was it to find a job since you didn't know English?
You know, I was so obsessed with going to college that I literally took, of course, you know, like the ESL classes, and I also sort of repeated 12th grade here in the US, which was super tough because imagine, you know, 12th grade, you don't speak the language, nobody wants to hang out with you. I was definitely not used to that because in my school in Medellin, I was like a leader, right? Like I was involved in everything. So that was really crushing for sure. But I was so hyper focused that like I would, in that time, of course, it was like the actual printed dictionary, and I would like literally like look up 100 words per day, and I learned pretty quickly. But still, the type of jobs I was getting as a student didn't require like super elaborate English. So, you know, as a hostess, sometimes I was bussing tables at restaurants. So I got by that first year, and then I just really put myself out there. Like I had no choice either too, because I had to work. I also work with a relative at a swami selling jewelry, and she was like tough love, which I appreciate to this day so much. And she's like, this is an earring, this is a necklace, this is a bracelet. You just say, how can I help you? And when they tell you how much, you ask me and tell them the price. So literally, like, I just had no luxury not to be able to speak and be shy. I really didn't have that luxury because I needed to make money to pay my rent and survive. So that will make you, you know, sharp quickly.
Did you lose anyone important through your journey of growing up?
Yeah, like I said, well, my grandmother passed away, but I feel like as someone that leaves their hometown, you lose it all. Really, like I actually have poems about this, that where I speak like, is it worth it? Everything that you sacrifice? And that's a question that I love to ask everyone, because imagine how many family birthday parties I miss, and so many milestones. Like my nephew right now, I'm missing his birthday, you know. And I think as an immigrant and someone that left their native land, you literally lose everything and rebuild it. So yes.
Um, what do you enjoy most about your work?
Yes, ma'am.
I love people,
Thank you.
and I love connecting with people and learning about their stories. I think there is like a genuine interest that I have. I guess is natural to me. So I think the human connection, there's nothing like it. And the beauty of it is that even when I interview these huge celebrity, actually, I just one that I loved as well, David Beckham. And like you interview him and then you interview someone like me, or like someone just normal that's not like a celebrity, and the common denominator, it's we all want to be happy, we all want to have beautiful moments with our loved ones, and it's just so beautiful to see that we're all connected, no matter what. So yeah, that beautiful human connection through our stories, for me, is the best.
What do you enjoy the most with the arts?
I think the arts are definitely a healing tool, are very therapeutic. I guess you could say it's a form of therapy and self-expression that has really helped me since I was very young to deal with all the craziness of life. Like I said, I lived in this very dangerous place growing up. Good news, it's not that bad anymore, and there's a lot of beauty there, and it's actually very popular, Colombia, right now. And the arts are definitely the best. I always advise people to play and experiment with the arts, because it really can help, especially during these times, with our mental health. And it's something that just makes me so happy.
What were some of the most interesting roles you had in theater?
There was one play that got adapted with some like Latin theme, and it's a Peer Gynt by Henry Ibsen. And it was a great milestone for me because I got cast as the lead, the female lead. Soledad Solving is the original character with the MFA actors. So for me, I was from the BA program, and we were allowed to audition for like one of their plays, one or two per year, and just getting in was amazing. And I got to sing and act, and I think the theater has that beautiful team effort where you get so close to everybody.
Someone asked, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food, I could really, oh, by the way, I don't eat any animal products, and I don't remember the last time I ate like meat. So I'm really strange when it comes to food, but I could eat beans, rice, and avocado and plantains like every day. I would love that. Plantains is also something very Caribbean, and something that I ate at every lunch growing up in Colombia.
How do you generate great ideas for your magazine?
Yes, I literally need to feel inspired all the time, which can be a tough thing and an annoying thing for the people that live with me, like my husband, because I'm literally always looking for inspiration, right? So I need to go out somewhere, go to a museum, go to a beautiful cafe, go take a road trip, and those ideas come from having different experiences and being surrounded by people that inspire you, and also going and seeing what's out there, right? So like taking myself to a museum one day, or watching a foreign film, or literally like now that I'm so much into spoken word and poetry, like literally going on YouTube and watching beautiful poets from different ethnicities. And I guess that when I see someone who's really great, let's say in the spoken word world, that inspires me. I'm like, wow, that was so great. I want to do something like that, and that really keeps me on my toes.
And our last question is, what advice would you give to current high school students?
Yes, your age may be tough in some areas because you're still discovering so much about yourself. And by the way, that never stops. We're always growing, we're always evolving, and that's actually a beautiful thing. My advice for you is that right now you're not aware how precious this time is in regards to how true to yourself you are. So for example, I'm gonna become 40 next week. And when I feel like I'm stuck or that I'm forgetting my essence, guess what? I always look back to that version of me in high school. And that version of me was very true. You know, it was very an influence by social media. It was very pure in a way. So I would say really take advantage of who you are now and really ask yourself, what is that passion and something. It could be a hobby, anything that brings you joy, alegría. You know, my company means joy in English. And that it's going to be a reminder for you. If you don't pursue that right now, I can guarantee you when you become 40 or 50, you're going to think about this high school person and you're going to say, wow, if I can channel my high school self, what would this person be? And I absolutely do that all the time. And that leads me to my truest self. So you're actually in a beautiful spot and a very true part of you. It's happening right now. So take advantage of that and create magic and monetize it and create businesses out of that. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful time.
Thank you, Davina. Thank you, Armine. We actually have like 9 more minutes. I appreciate all the time that you gave for questions because we were actually able to get through them. Is there anyone, any of the participants that want to raise their hand and you can ask your question live? I'll give it a couple of seconds.
Oh, that's so cool.
She's answered so much, but is there anything, any burning questions out there? Any hands? Aha. Okay, Chang Yun Beck. Go ahead and Bill, can you unmute him? Oh, here he goes. Okay.
This is just a quick, simple question. Do you like games? There's like any type of game, like physical, like I don't know, like Twister or just like normal games with friends?
Oh, that's, you know, Twister, that's such a cool thing. I did love it. I don't do it. I should buy a Twister. Games. Yeah, I am a playful person. You know what? I love dancing, which for me is a sort of play. So I love salsa dancing. As far as like, you know, table games and stuff, I don't do those so much. But there's one game that every time I go to Colombia, I bring it back, and it's called, I guess you also have it here, Parqués. Is that something you guys say? Yeah, Parqués.
Parcheesi?
Yes, we
Okay.
call it Parqués. So that's one that I actually always liked.
It's fun. Any other questions? Can we ask Davina, for you, what is next for you, you think? Because you've had so many interesting paths. What's next for you?
Yes, you know, with 2020, I guess it has taught us that we can have a lot of plans and we have to adapt. And I'm highly spiritual as well, so I'm always sort of led by what that higher power wants in my life. But definitely I see a lot of beautiful stuff happening with our publishing division and promoting and producing works by beautiful, young, emerging poets and storytellers of color. I see myself really getting super excited about that. And of course, sharing my own poetry with hopefully like a poetry live show in the future. So yeah.
And so think about the high school teenager. Who's an author who you would recommend for them to read? I saw a couple books on your website, but who would you recommend for their age group?
Yes, you know, someone that's actually, she created the whole renaissance of poetry in this digital age, and I'm sure a lot of them already know her, is Rupi Kaur. She's an Indian Canadian spoken word poet and artist and illustrator, and she's actually the biggest voice in poetry right now for many people and for that age group. So she's done has been incredible.
Thank you for that. Are there any other questions, any hands that you can raise? for our speaker. We have 6 more minutes. That's all the time we have left with her.
Can I add something too? Like
course.
sometimes I feel like when you talk about writing or poetry, it seems like complicated and boring sometimes. But I also encourage people to journal. And I think that's something that we all can do. So literally, like if you like writing on your phone notes or pen and paper that's available to all of us, I feel that journaling is a great place to first, great for mental health, and secondly, a great place to explore that part of you that I feel can bring you to a lot of truth within yourself and getting to that place of, wow, this is like a great thing I just learned about myself. And it's something that's free and available to all of us. And so I really encourage you to explore that as well.
I love that. Thank you. I like this song a lot. I can't wait to hear your answer. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Karaoke song. Okay, so there is this Spanish group that I also grew up with called Mecano. They are from Spain. And when I used to sing in school, I was like sort of like mimicking her voice a lot all the time. So I have like the same high pitch that she has, and that would be the song, Mecano.
Okay. And then this is a great question. Who are the members of your team on Alegria, and how do you work as a team?
Yes, a great team. It took me forever to find it, to be honest with you. Because when I started, like and I'm still a lot of like a solopreneur in many individual projects that I create for myself, because nowadays you sort of have to do everything, right? Like I write the book, I produce it, I market it, I even ship my books. Like, so a lot of us has to do a lot of things ourselves, but there is nothing like a great team. And I definitely feel the difference when you have, like, I've had a great one. So a lot of them are freelancers. Our team is always 7 to 10 people, from designers, freelance writers, photographers, videographers, and all that kind of stuff. And right now I work with a beautiful Mexican American entrepreneur. She has a like design agency, and Diane is like my right hand, but I think that when building a great team, it's really important to find people that really believe in your same purpose and that care about the same community that you serve, because then it's like they're giving their 100% or their 200%. So I think that just like-minded people, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And I'm going to call that to close tonight. I want to thank Armina for being a wonderful student moderator. She did a great job with all those questions. And thanks to Mr. Gallimore and Mr. Hernandez. But muchas gracias to Davina for spending this time with us. What an inspiration you are, coming to the United States and creating this magazine. I actually ordered the books while you were talking. I ordered
thank you.
The Latinx Poetry Project. So I'm very excited to get that. For our participants, this Thursday is our last opportunity to see a webinar live. And that is Alejandro Parjon. He's here, a community leader in our own community. He's done some wonderful things, and I'm so excited that he is our farewell speaker, if you will, to Hispanic Heritage Month. So thank you everyone for coming. We will see you Thursday night, same time, same place. Have a wonderful week. Again, Davina, gracias. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.